I will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody to the nation's 50 million crypto holders. I say this with your vote. I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin. And I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
As the youngest member of the Senate, the one, therefore, who may expect the longest career there, I wonder if you'd say to us, since it's clear that you're not corrupt and you got elected, why should people think that the system produces corrupt results when there you are?
Well, I'm not sure you should assume I'm not corrupt, but thank you for that, though. The system does produce corruption, and I think implicit in the system is corruption, when in fact, whether or not you can run for public office, and it costs a great deal of money to run for the United States Senate, even from a small state like Delaware, you have to go to those people who have money, and they always want something.
Tesla is about to give us a lot more information about the robo-taxi opportunity. Now, originally, August 8th, so 8/8, and I know in China that's a very lucky number. And we thought that that's why Elon chose the date. At first it was August 8th. Today they pushed it to October. And that just tells me that we're probably getting closer to this robo-taxi opportunity, not further away. He wants to show us something more, I think, awe-inspiring than we might have seen on August 8th, and he believes it's possible by October.
Bezos, he's selling more shares of Amazon. Wealth editor Robert Frank joins us. He's got the numbers. Why is he selling all this stock? Any idea, Robert?
Not yet, David. I mean, look at the stock price. It certainly is a good time to sell. Now, let's put this in a little perspective. So back in March, remember, Bezos filed a plan to sell $8.5 billion by the end of the year. He sold that in just a matter of weeks. And then earlier this month, he filed a second plan to sell an additional $5 billion by the end of the year. So that will bring his total, if he sells that entire $5 billion, to $13 billion in total sales just this year. And he's already working on that $5 billion tranche very quickly. Over the past week, he has sold in 3 tranches. He had one last Friday, 2 this week. That was Tuesday and Wednesday, totaling about $1.2 billion for the week. He will now only own about 9% of Amazon shares, still clearly the largest individual holder. Now, the big question, as you mentioned, David, is what is he going to do, or what is he doing with all this cash? Now, maybe he's using it to fund some of Blue Origin. That's a space company. That is a very expensive endeavor. He's also purchased $200 million of land in Miami. That's to build a new house. He and his fiancée, Lauren Sanchez, they've been spending some of the summer on his $500 million yacht off the coast of Greece, but he is saving a lot in state taxes. Now, remember, he moved from Seattle to Florida last year. He will have saved, by the end of all these sales, nearly $1 billion in state taxes by making that move to Florida in stock sales. We should also add, guys, Mackenzie Scott received all those Amazon shares as part of their divorce settlement. She is worth $40 billion, and that is after she gave away $17 billion to charity.
What happened at AT&T is they had their call logs breached. So, you know, when you make a call, AT&T logs the originating number and the called number, and they generate billions of those data points. And so they need to store that data offsite with a third-party provider. Bloomberg reported that it was Snowflake that was actually breached. It was housing the AT&T data. This all occurred back in 2022. So, John, if you were not a subscriber then, I think you're really safe. But the risk is, or the fear is, that hackers could use that data to potentially blackmail politicians or other vulnerable parties who may not want that call information released.
Or like somebody like, hey, why was John texting Alex at 2 a.m.? I mean, that didn't happen, I'm just saying.
Breaking this hour, New York Times reporting donors have told the largest pro-Biden super PAC that roughly $90 million in pledges are now frozen if Biden remains at the top of the ticket. But But this may only be the beginning. Reports claim a coordinated Democratic rebellion is set to unfold during a brutal 48-hour stretch for Biden. An 18th Democrat lawmaker just called for Biden's exit 90 minutes ago. Now we're learning that President Biden privately met with White House Minority Leader Jeffries after his solo press conference last night, where he made several embarrassing mistakes on the world stage.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And don't forget to follow the TikTok. It is free to follow. And make sure you like and subscribe this channel and spread it everywhere. It's time to wake the sheep. And we have Kathy Wood on Tesla. She's waiting on those self-driving cars. Remember, her whole portfolio is all fourth industrial revolution based. Robots, algorithms, and drones. That's what she's invested in because she knows what's going on in the future. And these self-driving cars, remember, Tesla is probably number 5 or 6 because we know Waymo is way ahead. And then the emerging markets are definitely way ahead. And then we have Jeff Bezos selling more stock. We've had all these company CEOs sell stock after stock. And now we have that bill where the politicians won't be able to buy stock. But guys, we know why. Because stocks are about to pull back and we're going to go a whole 10 years with no growth. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now we have AT&T's hack, and I think this was the one back in April of 2024. And they received the call logs from 2022. Guys, make sure you keep an eye on this because whoever wanted those dates for a reason. You guys know how I feel about hacks. And is Biden going to be out? Now they're cutting the money. And we know once they cut the money, they're forcing him to step aside. And we're only 4 months away from this election. So guys, this movie is about to get even better. And we have the Fed getting ready to cut rates, whether it's this month or whether they're going to wait till September. They're going to start cutting rates. But don't forget, guys, these drums are going to get louder. We'll have cyber attacks. The Birdman will pick up. So that will give the Fed the distraction they need to cut even more. So they may not do 25 basis points. They may do 75, even 100 when we get to December. Because whether they start this month or September, it's already too late. They've already killed this economy, but we know why. It's to bring on the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Professor, it's good to see you. You said that we won't see a rotation into small stocks and value stocks until it becomes clear the Fed's going to cut, and that the CPI, you said this before it came out, could be a game changer. That's exactly what happened. You saw what happened with the Russell yesterday. Now, what is this? 3 steps forward, 2 steps back? What did the PPI say to you?
Well, I think it's 4 steps forward and maybe 1 step back. There's a few components here that do go into the PCE, and it's going to take a little while to suss that out. But I think that the CPI was a game changer. And yeah, I mean, it was last Friday for Scott Wapner closing bell that exactly what I said. And I think the Fed should definitely cut. I mean, not only was it great inflation news on the CPI, which is far more important than the PPI, but let's look at jobless claims. Now, jobless claims were good this week, but don't forget they reported the week of July 4th, which, is always distorted. I'm really looking at it next week because we've been on an upward trend, not only on claims, we've been on an upward trend on the unemployment rate. When we hit 4.1%, we hit the so-called Psalm rule, which says that if the 3-month moving average goes up 0.5%, which it did on the last labor report, the probability of recession is very high. Now, I'm not calling for recession, but I'm saying that is on the Fed's radar. So I'm looking at that. I think he's teeing up a cut. I'm just hoping that he'll cut fast enough that he won't go too slow on the way down, the way we know he went far too slow on the way up. So my concern is not that he's going to, cut too much, but he might cut too slowly. But the data will tell us what the judgment is.
You don't think before September?
No, unless we get a big deterioration. I mean, I'm trying to think that July 31st is the meeting. So we get maybe 1, 2 jobless claims, no other really important indicators. So, no, he's far too deliberate. But it'll be a tee-up, I think, saying we now see the conditions in place for a cut if the data continue to move in the direction that we are seeing at the current time. Of course, the cut is expected to be 25 basis points, but there's 6 weeks until that next meeting, and we'll see whether he is compelled to do more at that time. But that's my expectation for the July 31st meeting.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told his members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will. During that auction that we saw a little bit before, the attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy. And you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.